You might be surprised to hear this, but if you take a disco ball and hang it up outside near a window or door, the bouncing light will confuse bugs and keep them from flying into your house. You can take Dawn dish soap and peppermint essential oil, mix them on a rag, and wipe them on your window. This will keep condensation from forming and discourage bugs from crawling in. When you get down to your windowsill, you can also use a bar of Irish Spring soap to further discourage bugs from crawling in. Add a few drops of orange essential oil to your Swiffer mop. Now you can clean your floors and deter bugs from crawling on them. You can even use the same hack on your walls to keep bugs from crawling on those. And if you have any leftover fast food bags, stuff them with some plastic bags, rubber band it shut, and shape it into a rough ball. Take it outside, and when you hang it up, any hornets flying by will think there's already a hive and stay far away.
These easy DIYs keep the pests at bay and are all natural too. To trap pesky flies, take a plastic soda bottle and cut it crosswise, making sure that the bottom half is taller than the top. Pour 1/4 cup of water into the bottom half, along with a tablespoon of honey and a few drops of dish soap. Stir to blend. Place the top half of the bottle upside down into the bottom. This creates a funnel through which flies attracted to the honey can get in but can't get back out. Enjoy your outdoor space while keeping pests away with a bar of Irish Spring soap, a zippered mesh bag, and citronella oil. Place a few drops of the oil onto the soap and let it soak in. Put the soap into the bag, zip it shut, and place or hang around your deck or patio. To keep away spiders, fill an 8-ounce glass spray bottle with 20 to 30 drops of peppermint oil. Top with distilled water and shake to blend. Then spray generously around doorways and window frames.
Ever wonder what you can do with those extra eggshells in the trash can if you're not planning to compost them? So eggshells have a ton of calcium in them. So we're going to try to utilize that. And you're going to want to set your oven to a low temp, 250, 275. And then you're going to slide them in the oven and let them bake for 10 to 15 minutes. Once the eggshells are cool, break out your blender. And I went ahead and ground them down for about a minute. You want to create as fine a powder as possible. So for garden applications, I love to use this ground eggshell powder around peppers and tomatoes, especially these plants that require a lot of calcium. And you want to apply it around what we call the drip line. And this is if your plant was to be rained on, where the water drips off the leaves onto the soil. And there you go. Store it on your potting bench until you're ready to use more later.
Do you have annoying pests that have made their way into your home? Never fear, we're going to make some DIY pest repellers. Let's get started. I cut out the center of a paper plate that would fit into the inside of the ice cream bucket. I removed the handle, poked holes where the handle used to be all the way through, and then slid a wooden skewer through the bucket. Next, I grabbed my paper plate and I taped it to the skewer so that it floated on top. I took a second paper plate and folded it up and made a counterweight with it. I stapled it closed. I cut out an edge onto the ice cream bucket so that the counterweight could stick outside of that lip. Place your bait, I'm using sunflower seeds, onto the top on the opposite side of the counterweight. I'm using a plastic wolf to resemble a mouse. As it works its way towards the bait, it will tip, and then the counterweight will pull back and close the trap, trapping the mouse inside. Save your 2-liter old pop bottles, remove the label and rinse them out. Cut the top portion of the 2-liter bottle off. Next, grab an old potato, cut it all up, and place it in the bottom of the 2-liter pop bottle. Place the top half upside down into the top so it looks like a funnel. The bugs will fly into the bottle to get the deteriorating food and be trapped inside the bottle. Cut citrus fruit in half and place some cloves, whole cloves, into the fruit. Between the cloves and the citrus, it will repel bugs. Start by adding 4 drops of Dawn dish soap into the bottom of a jar of your choice. Add 1 tablespoon vinegar, 1 teaspoon sugar, and 1 cup of water. Mix thoroughly till everything is dissolved. Place a piece of saran wrap over the top of the entire jar and hold it into place with a rubber band. Poke small holes into the top. The gnats will make it in to get to the sugary water, and they'll be trapped inside and won't be able to get back out. Start by cutting some fruit up and placing it in the bottom of the jar. Citrus fruit works best for this. Next, add some basil and fill the glass up with water. Add some drops of essential oil. Lemon is preferred, or lemongrass. The basil and the citrus fruits will repel the bugs. As an added bonus, add a desirable tea light on top for ambience. Did you know that tea lights float? Mix 1 tablespoon Dawn dish soap into 1 cup of water. Pour into a spray bottle and use this to spray infested plants. The soap will stick to their exoskeleton and break it down and kill those pests. And I hope this inspires you to create some indoor traps of your own.
Head to the Dollar Tree and pick up a 2-pack of Irish Spring soap. I used the first bar of soap from the pack and rubbed it on all the baseboards in my home, focusing on the ones that are on the exterior walls of our building. I made sure to rub the soap into the baseboard with my fingers so that it was no longer visible. I also rubbed the soap on the windowsills. I then took the bar of soap outside and rubbed it on my sliding glass door and the exterior of my windows. Due to the scent of Irish Spring, it helps deter bugs, which should result in less entering our home. The next way I used the bar was I cut it into pieces and placed a small piece into each of my shoes to remove any odors and to keep them smelling fresh. Lastly, I wet the bar of soap and rubbed it on my kids' bug bites. Once the area was fully coated, I allowed it to dry and the itch of the bite went away. Next up are 2 ways I like to use shredded Irish Spring soap. I took the second bar of soap from the pack and shredded it with a cheese grater into a mason jar. I then took about 1/3 of the grated bar and added it to a small glass jar. I covered the jar with a cloth topper and placed it in the corner of my room to act as an air freshener. Next, I focused on the outdoor spaces of my home. I added the shredded soap pieces to the soil of my potted plants because occasionally I have insects that eat the leaves of my potted lemon tree, and this soap trick helps to deter them. Lastly, I used the shredded Irish Spring to make a multi-purpose spray. To make the spray, I added about 1/4 of the bar to a small saucepan with a 1/2 cup of water. I turned the stove to low-medium heat and allowed the soap to melt for around 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until it was fully incorporated into the water. I allowed the mixture to cool slightly, then added it to a spray bottle I had on hand. I topped the bottle off with warm water, added a sprayer nozzle, then shook it up. I used this multi-purpose spray as a bug spray for my family. I sprayed this mixture on the leaves of all of my plants on the patio to help further deter bugs, and I made sure to reapply it after it rains.
Do you think vinegar is just for use in the kitchen? It's not. So grab your jug of white vinegar and let me show you all the ways you can use it in the garden. The first is going to be for a DIY weed killer spray. And so you're going to want to combine white vinegar, a good squirt of dish liquid, and then you're going to add 1/2 cup of Epsom salt. Next, you're going to want to spray it on those weeds and then come back overnight and you'll see that your weeds have died. And in my jar, I already have about 1 cup of water. And now I'm just going to add an equal amount of white vinegar. Place your garden tool inside. When I come back the next day, you'll see all that loose debris that's come off of my pruners. Next is all about your hummingbirds. And so if you brought your hummingbird feeder in last year and you washed it, there still might be some soapy residue in there, which we don't want the hummingbirds to ingest. So just take a little bit of white vinegar and then an equal amount of water, and then you can pour it out and do another rinse of water, and your hummingbird feeder should be good to go. If you're bringing in garden veggies or buying them from your local farmer's market, even if they haven't sprayed with pesticides, you still want to wash your fruit and vegetables. So add just a few tablespoons of vinegar to a bowl and cut it with water. Put your fruits or veggies inside and let them sit for a few minutes, swish them around. And then you can go ahead and drain them off in a colander. So here are 4 different ways to use vinegar in the garden, and I hope this was helpful for you.